What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Going to be revisiting the Space Wolf Index now that we have a little more info and experience playing 10th edition. Still not a big fan of their detachment. I'd still just rather take Gladius. Just the fact that you have to achieve these, you can't achieve more than one turn. Uh, you're probably not getting any in the first two turns, so at best you're getting one turn three. So like, and then it won't trigger till end of turn three, so you get a turn four and five. Just not a big fan of it. Like, this is really the only detachment in the game I know of that you start with no rules. Some of them you start with at least a little rule and then earn stuff. Space Wolves come with no rules for their detachment, and you have to earn everything. And it has to be done with characters, so it really forces you to build a character-heavy list. So just not a big fan of their detachment, unfortunately. But luckily, we do have access to Gladius, which I think Wolves actually do play fairly well in. The stratagems are decent. Armor Contempt is, it's just like the standard Marine. 5 up Feel No Pain against psychic attacks and mortals, and then a 4 up if you've achieved Saga the Bear. That'd be really good. Like, I wish we could swap out Space Wolf strats for the Marine strats and just take Gladius, but we can't. Go for the throat, and the phase improve armor penetration and melee weapons equipped by the models mute by 1. If Beast Slayer's been active, gain Lance. I actually like this less than the one in the Marine Gladius because you gain Lance, and then if you're in Assault Doctrine, you get 1 AP. So you get the +1 to wound, which I think is the better part, just automatically. And you can just choose to be in Assault Doctrine on any turn, even if you spend a CP just for that one unit that turn. So you can really, in the Gladius, just get both of these buffs any turn you choose. Whereas this, you can get the extra AP anytime you choose, but you actually have to unlock the lance, which I'm not a big fan of. Death Howl, till end phase each time your unit makes a concentration, go up to 6 inches instead of 3. Uh, and you can make enemy units take battle shock tests, which we've come to find making people take battle shock tests in the middle of your turn isn't that great because it turns off in their command phase, so they still score. It's after you've scored. The situations where this will actually do anything that affects the game are very few and far between, so the extra movement is nice, but this part is really not that worried about it. Warrior Pride, you can select a saga that's not been played by your army until the end of the phase, models in your character's unit. So you can give one character Warrior Pride, which does give you then access to this, but basically costs you 2 CP to do it instead of 1. Then Relentless Assault. Till the end of the turn, your unit is able to shoot even though it fell back or advanced this phase. If the Saga of the Warrior is active, you can also declare a charge. Uh, that's fine, but once again in Gladius, you can just pop one of the strats or put them in a Doctrine and have access to this same abilities. Um, Pelt of the Beowulf. Model only at the start of the fight phase. Each minion within range must take a battle shock test. Once again, not that big a deal. People don't fail them very often, and if they do, all you're really doing is stopping stratagems. So the spots where this comes up big are going to be not that often. Black Death. Uh, Melee weapons get anti-monster 4 and anti-vehicle 4 plus. This is actually really nice. Black Death is really nice. I wish we had access to that in the Gladius. Wolf Tail Talisman. Attack allocated to the bear, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic. On like a big Thunderwolf Lord or something, that'd be really nice. Frost Weapon. The bear's melee weapons have precision, and the strength and AP are increased by 1. Yep, nice. Like these three enhancements are really nice. Unfortunately, the detachment's not really good, so we don't really get to use them, but those are really good. Alright, so then we're rolling down into our characters. We got Logan Grimnar, the Great Wolf. He's got the Axe Morkai. Really nice profile on the Axe Morkai. He's got 10 attacks if he wants to swing into little stuff, 6 into big stuff, which goes in at 3 damage. Once per battle in your charge phase, he can use his ability. You reroll charges for all the depths of Stardy's units from your army until the end of the turn. You reroll all hit rolls in combat. So this is really nice. You kill your oath target and shooting. he pops this. Everybody rerolls charges and rerolls. So if you're running a combat-centric Space Wolf list, which is the way I wish we could run and be real competitive, uh, this would be this is a great ability. So if you're running combat-heavy wolves, this just really pumps you up a level. Each time this model destroys an enemy unit, you gain 1 CP. That's cool. It has to be actually him, not his unit. So if you get him in combat and, or even, I saw somebody doing it with killing spore mines with the Stormbolter gaining CP. It was funny. But you get him into combat and you just time it right, swing his attacks at the right time. He could be the one to finish off a unit and you can get that CP. You can join Terminators or Wolf God Terminators. Yeah, Logan with a squad of Termies is really nice and beefy. That definitely could be a core of a list. Logan on the sled. Same attacks with Axe Mordecai. You just gain the 6 attacks from the dogs. Still has the same High King of Fenris and Griff. So the only thing that really changes is he gets the extra attacks in his, movement 10, toughness 6, 12 wounds, and OC 4 instead of OC 1. And then he can join Thunderwolves. That'd be a really interesting thing. Unfortunately, I don't like how much space this model takes up. Thunderwolves are already hard to hide and get around buildings and stuff. And he doesn't even have fly, so I'm not a huge fan of this just because of the size of the model. Just makes it deploying and getting around terrain and actually getting charges off with the unit a little difficult. But I definitely like the rules, the profile, but just the size of the model makes it just a little too unwieldy, in my opinion, to consistently be able to get it where you want it to be. Then we got Njal Stormcaller. He has Living Lightning, which is D6 to 2d6, Strength 7, Egg 1, 1 damage. It's 24, so compared to Tigerius, it's less damage but better range. But they both have the same amount of shots. Although I think Tigerius had Blast, so it's actually a little worse than Tigerius's, unfortunately. Staff of the Stormcaller, only 4 attacks, Strength 7 and 1d3. Does have sustained hits too, though, which is nice. If he's leading unit, they get Stealth. Alright, that's really cool. And then each time a Psychic attack targets this model, subtract 1 from the wound roll. His unit, yeah, so it gives -1 to his unit against Psychic attacks. So if you fight into Grey Knights or Thousand Suns or something like that, that would be really nice. Once again, you can join Terminators. I think if you're only running one Terminator squad, I take Logan instead of him. But if you want to run multiple, I can see sticking you all in one. Then Bjorn, love Bjorn. Current Space Wolf list I'm planning on running has Bjorn in it. If the Space Wolves win the poll over Deathwatch, and I take Space Wolves to the next RTT. T9, 8 wounds, doesn't seem that great, but he has the Feel No Pain 5+, and he has damage, so he is actually a lot more survivable than he just looks at first glance. I've had him tank a lot of stuff. And then he gives you the once per battle Vect, so you can increase the cost of people's CPs. Weapon options are okay. I'm personally running with the Multi-Melta, just because it's 2 shots instead of 1 on the las cannon. Health Frost is decent. The big shot's only 1 shot, which again I don't like. It does have to give you the option of Dispersed. The heavy plasma cannon definitely has some play. I could see that 36-inch range is nice. You do risk hurting yourself, but you do have the Feel No Pain. So I can definitely see play for the plasma cannon. I don't actually have a heavy plasma cannon, which is why I'm probably not taking that over the Melta. He gets the heavy flamer. That's just always built in. And then the assault cannon. Devastating wounds is nice, but no AP, so if you don't get the devastating wounds, he's not doing much. So I probably think heavy plasma cannon is the best option. Although random number of attacks, you could still roll the 1, but it is blast, so that helps. I'm running the Melta just because that's the second best option. I don't currently have a heavy plasma cannon, but I may need to look into getting one for him because I do think that is the better option. But this is just a super strong ability. A lot of people have one strat they really, really rely on. So taking this, and I'm actually currently the list I'm running, I take a Calidus as well. So you can do this to two of their strats, or I'd check with your TOs, but from what the way we've looked into it, it almost looks like you could do this and the Calidus and this to the same strat and make it cost two more for the rest of the game. I'm not sure if that's the way it's intended. I would just check with your TOs before knowing, just so you know for sure if they're going to rule it that way. Because I could see ruling against it, but I'm not. Rules as written, I believe technically you can. Um, but either way, making two key strats cost one more, even if they rule against that, is still really strong. But even if you don't want to take a Calidus, just doing this to the most important strat just changes a lot. Then we got Arjak. He's got Foe Hammer, which is anti-monster 2 plus and Assault. It's only one attack with Strength 8, negative 2, 3 damage. And then in combat, he's also Monster 2 plus, 5 attack, Strength 8, negative 2, 3 damage. So that's really helpful. Some of these monsters, especially like the Tyrannid ones, like T12, -1, they're just hard to get through. So Arjak would really help in that situation. Wise leading unit, each time model unit makes an attack, add one to the hit roll if it's below starting strength, and one to the wound roll if it's below half as well. Alright, so if they lose at least one model, they're getting +1 to hit. Champion of the Kingsguard, you can target this model with the Epic Challenge stratagem for 0 CP. In addition, each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Alright, so he can gain precision for 0 CP and just slam into a character with this weapon. So Arjak looks really nice. He can join any of the Terminator squads, and he can attach with Logan. So I actually really like that a beefy unit of like 10 Terminators with Logan and Arjak. Deep strike them in, rapid ingress them in, or something, and so that would be something people would really have to be scared of. Um, it's 4, 5. It's probably like 700 or so points to do that. So it takes up like a third of your list. So you really have to build the rest of the army around to complement it. You can chance to do two big bricks and then some mission play. Just have two hard to kill units. Uh, there's some interesting play there. That's it's a little different than the playstyle of the Wolf list I'm running currently, but I do believe I have enough Terminators to try this, so I may look into that coming up after we do the get through the current RTTs and stuff, depending on how my other list plays. If the other list does well, I might just stick with it for a while. Uh, but that would be a fun list to run. Just lots of Terminators, putting you all in one, put Logan and Arjak in one, or even setting you all if you want to take a regular captain in one just for the free strat stuff. Because then, yeah, because then you could rapid ingress for 1 CP with Logan's unit, and then do it for free, and again with the captain's Terminator unit. Maybe throw a Wolfguard Battle Leader in Terminator armor, if that's still a thing, in there, if they're able to join with a captain, so you could have two characters in each unit, and then just take some, like, infiltrators or whatever to, like, to guard your battlefield. That could be interesting, really hard for people to deal with, really annoying. You don't have as many units to do mission play, so I'm not sure how well it would actually play on the table, but that's definitely an interesting concept. We got Ulrich, the Slayer, just a Crozius, plasma pistol, so nothing super special about his guns. Feeling a plane 6 up. While leading a unit, start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit with engagement range of his unit. To the end of the phase, each time a model in his unit makes a melee attack that targets the enemy unit, reroll a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll of 1. Each time a model in this model's unit makes a melee attack, that targets the reroll a hit roll of 1 and a reroll of 1. Alright, so they get to reroll 1s to hit and wound in combat, and then if that enemy unit is a character vehicle, at the end of the phase, each time models makes a melee attack, they can reroll all hits and all wounds. Alright, so you get to reroll 1s to hit and wound, unless it's a character vehicle monster, then you reroll all. And then with a friendly Adeptus Astartes models within 6 of him, they get a 5-up leadership. Bloodclaw, Grey Hunters, Longfangs, Wolfguard. So if you want to run a big Bloodclaw squad or something with him, I could see some playing that. Grey Hunters, they can only run a 10-man, so I don't know if they need it. Longfangs, he's kind of wasted because all his buffs are melee. Maybe if you're in a combat Wolfguard unit, I could see some play for him. Ragnar, I love Ragnar. He's been in every Space Wolf list I've played around with so far. Frostfang has sustained hits 1, 8 attacks, strength 6, neg 3, 2 damage. His unit gets advance and charge, and then each time they charge, he gets plus 2 attacks, strength, and strength. So he's going to be 10 attacks, strength 8, neg 3, 2 damage, with sustained hits 1. So if you got Oath up, he normally averages like 12 hits. Like, it gets pretty dumb. Really like him with the squad of Blade Guard. Yeah, he's if you go the Terminator route with like Logan and stuff, maybe you leave him. But if you're not and you just want him in a Blade Guard unit, is really nice. A really nice combat. Uh, yeah, if I take him, I take him with Blade Guard. I don't see the point in putting him in anything else. It seems like a waste. Uh, then Crom Dragon Gaze. He's got Worm Claw, which is lethal hits, 7 attacks, or 7 strength, neg 2 damage. A refuse to accept defeat. While he's leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If it's below starting strength, then 1 of the rune rolls below half strength. Alright, that's okay. Shooting phase, you select 1 enemy infantry unit within 12, invisible to the model. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Once again, battle shock's not that big a deal, especially since it's in your turn. If you could do it in like the opponent's turn to turn off people's like that are trying to do like secondary actions, that would be cool. But so that's okay. That's almost useless. Yeah, then once again, not great units for him to join. Now we're getting into some of the Thunderwolf characters. We got Herald, Deathwolf. Got Crushing Teeth. Oh, this is the Thunderwolf attack. And then Glacius is 6 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. While it's leading unit, each time that unit makes a charge move until the end of the turn, Crushing Teeth and Claws have Devastating Wounds ability. That's really nice because on the charge they get +1 damage if he's in a Thunderwolf squad. So all those Crushing Teeth and Claws would be Devastating Wounds at 2 and then once per phase, make attacks models. You can select this model. Alright. Resolve an attack made against this model. After you make a saving throw for this model, I've taken 0 damage, 1 attack, but it's only against him, not his unit. Still nice, but not as good as if it was just on the unit. But if you're running Thunderwolves, turning those teeth and claws into devastating wounds, and then he'll be 3 damage on the charge if he's with the Thunderwolf unit. Uh, yeah, that's nice. I like Herald if you're going to run some Death Thunderwolves. Obviously, that's the only thing he can join. Canis, he has Wolf Claws, 8 attacks, Strength 5, negative 1 damage, Twin Linked. Then he's Born of the Wolves. While leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained hits 1. Oh, that's nice. Then each time this model ends a charge move, select 1 unit with engagement range of it, roll a d6. 2 to 3, they suffer d3 mortals. 4 to 5, they suffer 3. 6, they suffer d3 plus 3. Alright, so unless you roll a 1, so 5 out of 6 times you're doing some mortals to somebody, and then you give your unit sustained hits 1. That's not bad. And then both of these are going to go to 2 damage if it's attacked to a Thunderwolf squad. I can join Fenrisian Wolves or Thunderwolves. I think you put him with the Thunderwolves. I really don't think you waste him on a Fenrisian Wolf squad. Unless you just want him running blind by himself, you just buy them as just a couple cheap extra wounds. But they have to take the saves first. They don't have good saves, so they really die pretty quick. Uh, I definitely prefer him in the Thunderwolf squad, but I guess if you want to make people eat through the Fenrisian Wolf wounds, you can. Wolfguard Battle Leader and Terminator armor. Oh, here he is. Combi weapon, Chain Fist, so nothing special here, just generic weapons. Gives his unit lethal hits, and while this model is attached to a unit that can't another character, all character models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 4 plus ability. Alright, so him, if he joins with another character, they both get a 4 Feel No Pain. You give him the shield, he gets a 6 up invul. Or not 6 up invul, 6 wounds. He's got the 4 up invul. Terminator, so like I said earlier, take him, Arjack, a regular Terminator captain, and Logan, 2 big Terminator squads, and mix and match. Put Logan and him, or Logan and the captain in one, and then Arjack and him with however you want to combo for how you're trying to do stuff. Uh, that really interesting. That sounds kind of fun, especially if you're playing on like GW Trade where there's lots of places to like rapid ingress and not really get shot. If you're playing a little more on player place, sometimes it's a little harder to find good spots to do that. But on GW Train, I definitely think that could be I don't know if it's going to win like a GT, but it could be fun. Something to take to an RTT. Then we get a Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf. Uh, yeah, nothing special here, just generic weapons. The 0 CP strat, and he adds one to advance and charge rolls made for his unit. That's nice, especially if you're in Gladius and you're advancing and charging with the Thunderwolves. That's you get +1 to the advance and +1 to the charge. You basically gain 2 inches. That's nice. I like that. Then you give him the shield. He's 7 wounds, so really tough to kill. Then Battle Leader on Thunderwolf. He gives the unit lethal hits. Once you're battling your opponent's shooting phase, after a unit has finished making its attacks, if this model unit is targeted by one or more of those attacks, this model can make a normal move up to d6 inches, but must end as close as possible to closer in the unit when doing so. Can be moved within engagement. Oh, so that's cool. So you throw him in with the Wolf Lord, or if one of the other guys was a captain, and the wolves, somebody shoots them, you actually get to move d6 inches toward them. And then if that gets you into combat range or on an objective or something, that's really cool. And if not, you can pop advance and charge the next turn if you're in Gladius and you already got the +1 to advance and charge from the captain. Uh, that's really nice with the Thunderwolves. Like the big units of Thunderwolves are unwieldy to get around, but with this extra movement here and the captain's +1, like I could see maybe taking one big unit of these. And and just he can join with the captain or chapter master. Blood Claws, nothing special in their profiles here. Each time this unit makes a charge move until the end of the turn, add 1 to attacks and strength of melee weapons equipped by models on this unit. Oh, so that's nice. So their swords can go to 4 attack, strength 5. Going to strength 5 from strength 4 is a big swing in a lot of situations. Because if something's strength toughness 8, well now you're wounding on 5s instead of 6s. If it's strength 5, you're wounding on 4s. If it's strength 4, now you're wounding on 3s. If it's below strength, and then you can pop the lance on them as well. So in some cases, this charge plus Heroes of the Chapter is almost like +2 to wound. So you can run you can run them up to 15 man. I don't see if you're going to take them, run the 15 man. Put Ulrich or somebody in there with them and just put them in a Land Raider or outflank them or something like that. And if they get in, that's pretty cool. They are battle line, so they're OC2. So they are great for stealing objectives. I definitely see some play for Blood Claws. I'm not running them right now just because of the way I constructed the list. I don't have the points to do this big unit like this, but I definitely could see them having some play if you build a list that tailors to that. And any character that could join that Assault Squad can join them. Grey Hunters, generic attacks here. They're able to shoot in a turn in which it fell back or advanced. That's really nice. The really thing I like about them is they can be taken in 5-mans, which tactical squads and stuff can't. So you could take, and it's not per 5, so it's just 2 Grey Hunters can replace. So you could take 2 Meltagun's character with a weapon and just 2 other guys and just run you a little 5-man. So it's good for holding your backfield and stuff. Unfortunately, they're the same points as like infiltrators and stuff, so I've been taking infiltrators and incursors just for the +1 to hit from incursors and the deep strike boggle from infiltrators, but I don't hate taking Grey Hunters at all. Like if you have them, even if you want to take a 10-man, stick them in a Rhino or something, they have some play. The way I'm running the list, I prefer the infiltrators for what I'm doing, but Grey Hunters definitely have play. Wolfguard, just the heirloom weapon thing just hurts my heart so much. While the character is leading the unit, they get +1 to hit, but the fact that they can't take the axes or the hammers or the claw, just like the Vanguard vets, I just don't think you take them right now. Just at 1 damage, you might as well just take the cheaper Assault Marines. Even you lose 1 AP, but take Skyclaws. Then we get Lucas. He's got the Claw of the Jackal Wolf, strength 5, negative 1 damage. Subtract 1 from the hit roll against the unit he's leading. If he's destroyed by a melee attack, after attack units finish making attacks, roll 1d6 on 4 plus d6 mortals to, and the enemy's unit's battle shock. Now the mortals is nice. Battle shock, like we said, isn't that big an issue. Uh, if you're running multiple squads of Grey Hunters or Blood Claws, maybe throw them in there. If you're only running one, I think I prefer Ulrich. Then we just have the Wolfguard Terminators. As always with Wolfguard for the last forever, they just have a better option of mixing and matching Assault Terminators and Shooty Terminators. So you're not stuck taking one or all. You can take a Thunderhammer and an Assault Cannon and a Chain Fit. Like you can mix and match however you want for the most part, which is really nice. Their ballistic skill, weapon skill, and modifiers to the hit roll can't be modified. And if you're shooting the Oath target, they get +1 to hit. So that's really nice. They don't get teleport homers. That is one thing you lose for getting the mix and match. You lose the teleport homers, but you can still rapid ingress. But you just have to spend the 1 CP. So that's not a huge loss for the flexibility that you gain. If I run Terminators as Space Wolves, I probably run Wolfguard. And then just here's the weapon options. Yeah, for every 5, you can take one of the heavy weapons. They did fix it so that you don't lose the Stormbolter one cyclone missile, or maybe it was regular Terminators that had one of the weapon options had. Think about it in regular Terminators, you had to replace the. Oh no, GW probably already updated the Index Online. I'm on the new Index Online. This used to say you had to replace the Stormbolter and Power Fist. So basically, you got the Cyclone and Stormbolter, but no Power Fist. But no, they changed, so that they already fixed it on here. That's right. The online indexes are updated. So never mind. So just ignore that. They already fixed it. Hounds of Mordecai. The anti-psyker 4+, devastating wounds and precision on combat and shooting. Neg 1 on their pistol. OP0 here, 1 damage. So not super scary, but into like a little farsi or something, maybe they're scary. In your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit within 12 of this unit. If a lieutenant and rear armor is leading unit, you make it 18 inches. The unit is supposed to take a battle shock test, subtract a 1 from the result if it's a psyker unit. If the test has failed, in addition to being battle shocked, the unit is stunned. So basically, you can possibly give an enemy unit neg 1 to hit with psychic attacks. Alright, so there's certain armies that will be good against. Most of the time, this is just useless. I do have Scout 6-inch. That's really just about it. Yeah, so not really big fan of Hounds of Mordecai. They don't have the same weapon options as the Reavers to get like the move through terrain and stuff. So unfortunately, they're a really cool unit. I've ran them quite a few times in 9th edition, especially when they first came out. But just don't do it for me right now. Wolfen. We'll look at the Wolfenhammer. Just like Final Death's a 4 up now. Like 4 up invul. Get the 6 of Feel No Pain. OC0. Just like they just really nerfed the Wolfen. Like you don't take Wolfen. Unfortunately, I got a bunch on my shelf. I loved Wolfen. You just don't take them right now. Wolfen Dreadnought for Norwegian Great Axe. Still got a decent profile on it. Great Wolf Claw still fine. Feel No Pain 6 up. Each time this model selects a fight, you can select one immune with engagement range, roll a d6, adding 2 if this model made a charge move. 4 to 5, they suffer d3 mortals. On a 6, they suffer d3 plus 3. That's alright. He's solid, he hits hard, he's got the Feel No Pain. You can give him the Blizzard Shield for the 4 pinball. I could definitely see play for the Wolfen Dreadnought, especially on like stuff like GW terrain, where you have good terrain, so you can get him into a position where he can get into charges. So yeah, definitely see play for him. Murder Fang, Murder Claws, Twin Linked, 8 attacks, Strength 14, -3 damage. That's a great profile. Each time the enemy unit targets this model after the unit has finished making its attack, this model can either shoot as your shooting phase or fight as if it were your fight phase. This is amazing. This does not have a cap on how many times you can do it. You charge into a knight or something, attack it, don't kill it. It fights you back, you fight again. Or you charge in and kill something, pile into something else, it attacks you, you fight back. You're still in combat with something, the enemy shoots you. Oh, you just combat what you're in combat, like, because your vehicle, you can be shot while you're in combat, and then you swing, because it doesn't say you have to target what targeted you. Uh, there's situations where you can just get to fight with him a lot if you get him in. Uh, so once again, on like player place, not as big a fan of it. GW train, definitely really like Murderfang. Uh, I could see building like that Terminator list, throw in Murderfang, maybe a Wolf and Dreadnought, and then just a bunch of little stuff to do objectives, and just you could really shred some people. Thunderwolves, they have the stupid heirloom weapons again also, but the only thing that makes them come back is that they get all these attacks from the claws too, and that on the charge they get +1 damage, so they basically have 7 damage to attacks, which is really nice. And then you pop some characters in there, so because of the ferocious charge, I think Thunderwolves are actually really good, especially at 100 points for 3. So 200 points, you take a 6-man, you throw a character or 2 in there. Uh, Not Logan, his base is just too big, I think, but you throw in the captain and battle leader, and I think this unit really has some punch to it. So definitely like Thunderwolves in a lot of lists. Fenrisian Wolves, as soon as I was declare a charge, determined to advance. That's nice. They are OC0, which sucks. No more just holding objectives and stuff with them. But they do get 2 attacks each. They're kind of cheap. Just so a little screening unit. For some reason, they can give up their shooting to do action. So if you have the points, I think they're like 30 points. I can see throwing a unit of these in if you just have nothing else to do. Although at that point, if you have at least 35, take an exaction squad because you can use them to hold your backfield instead of the wolves. But for 30 points, they're okay. Skyclaws. So basically just blood claws with jump packs. You can reroll charge rolls made for this unit. Each time this unit makes a charge move until the end of the turn, each time this monster makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. It's like reroll charges and +1 to hit. This is pretty solid. I definitely take them over the Vanguard vets just because they're cheaper. I was running a little 5-man for a bit just to deep strike in and do like behind enemy lines, investigate signals, engage on all fronts, stuff like that. They're cheap enough to throw away even if they don't get to do anything, just to score points. So definitely see play for Skyclaws. Skyclaws are definitely useful. Longfangs, basically just devastators that can take an extra gun. Grav is really nice right now. Running a squad with 5 grav guns is really nice. If they remain stationary, they can choose 1 enemy unit to get reroll once against. That's nice if you want them to shoot something that the rest of the army didn't. But I'd put them in a pod and drop them in, so they're probably going to be moving, so you probably won't try to shoot your oath target anyway. Once for a battle, you can auto make a hit a 6. That's nice. And yeah, you can run a 5-man or a 6-man, and you can take 4 or 5 guns depending on which one you run. Because basically everybody but the Longfang pack leader can take guns, so you can either take a 5-man with 4 guns or a 6-man with 5 guns. I mean, at that point, you might as well just take the 6-man with 5 guns. The Stormfang, it's got the Hellfrost Destructor, Skyhammer Missile, Twin Heavy Bolter. So the Destructor is pretty nice. Strength 11, neg 3, 7 damage. It's only D3 shots though, but it's sustained hits D3. So you could potentially pop that off really good every once in a while. Hellfrost Destructor is D6 plus 6 Torrent, so it auto hits, which is nice. But it's only 12-inch range. Strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, if an enemy monster or vehicle unit was hit by 1 or more of those attacks with this model's Hellfrost Destructor, till the end of your opponent's next turn, that enemy unit is frozen. Subtract 2 from its move and 2 from its advance and charge rolls. That's really nice. So it was hit by 1 or more attacks made by the. So it only have to hit it. You don't have to actually wound it. So even if you shot the torrent one at it, you can slow it down. So that's really nice. That's basically the ability that Thunderfire has, but Thunderfire is going away, so this is kind of a cool little thing to get over there and do that. But you're putting your, but you do it with the big gun, 36 inches, so that's not bad. I definitely kind of like that. And then it can transport up to 6 Adeptus Starters infantry. Each jump pack, Wolfen, Gravis, or Terminator takes up 2. So you put 3 Wolfen, can't 3 jump pack, can't 3 Gravis, can't. So they basically can't right in there. Centurions, you could get 2 in there. So basically, these guys can't get in unless it's late game and they've already taken a bunch of casualties. So not as much a transporter capacity or a transport, but it does have some good shooting. Then the Storm Wolf, this is the more transport one. It's got the Twin Hellfrost Cannon, which is only Strength 9, Neg 3, 5 damage. It's still pretty good, but it's only one shot. And it doesn't have the chance for sustained hit, so it's always one shot. And then you only get D6 on the cannon. So his damage is a little less, but he is able to transport more. And if you get out before it moves, the unit that got out of it is able to advance and charge. So that's nice. So it can't move and then let you get out and charge like a Land Raider, but if you get out before it moves, you do gain advance and charge. So that's pretty cool. Put like, let's see what it does here. 16, so you can put up to 8 Terminators in there. So it'd be 2 characters and 5, that's 7. I'd like running the 10 Termies, so you'd probably rather Deep Strike, but you could put 6 Blade Guard and Ragnar in there, or 12 Blade Guard with Ragnar and a Judicar, or one attached to each squad. Attach some lieutenants. That's definitely interesting. That's definitely something I could see having some play. You just got with all the knights and stuff out there, there is the option or possibility it gets blown up turn 1 because it does only have a 3-up save. It is 14 wounds T10, but it definitely could just get blown up in your deployment zone and all the stuff's walking. So I could see trying it. I'm not sure I'm 100% sold on it. Then we get the pack leaders. This have your standard weapon options. Less losing a unit once per battle. When a battle shock test is taken, you can reroll the test. Or it's a 1 free reroll in battle shock. That's nice. Can't be a warlord or given enhancements. They can join Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, or Longfangs, even if other characters have already been attached to it. You can never have more than one pack leader. So just, the Wolfguard pack leader is a thing that have always been around. Same thing, Wolfguard pack leader with jump pack. You can join Skyclaws. So if you're taking these units and you got some points, you can throw one of these guys in there. They don't really, other than giving you the reroll battle shock and a couple, I'd rather just stick regular characters in there. But I definitely see, and then you can do the Terminator one. It can't be a low warlord. It's the same stats or the same abilities. Blood Claws, Grey Hunter, Longfangs. So this guy, you stick him in the Longfangs, give him the Cyclone. That's some more shooting. That's always been a cool little trick. I could definitely still see doing that. If you could add him to a Terminator squad, that'd be cool. But they're already all Wolfguard, so they wouldn't have a Wolfguard pack leader. They've already got a leader. But just to take that squad to 11 with the characters would have been cool. But that's not a thing. Iron Priest. If you're running like the Dreadnought Heavy or Vehicle Heavy, Iron Priests are really nice. Tempest Hammer, 3 attack, Strength 8, Neg 2, 3 damage. He's got the Hellfrost Pistol. Gets Lone Operative near vehicles. He can heal D3, give +1 to hit to vehicles, the standard. And then if a vehicle is destroyed within 12 of him, his hammer goes to attack 6 attacks. That's not bad. You give him enhancements and stuff. So if you run a vehicle heavy and you want just buff one of your vehicles up, give him the heals, have him kind of back here guarding them with a little bit of combat, that's fine. You can attach him to a unit if you want to. If you take him, I think you just leave him on foot. I don't think you need to attack him to these units. Attach him to these units. Cyberwolf. His unit he's leading gets Scout. That's cool. Each time spawn makes an attack that targets an enemy unit below half strength. Add 1 to the hit and 1 to the wound. So that's only for him. He's okay. He has to be attached to a squad of Fenrisian wolves now. You can't just take him alone. which was the whole reason we're taking them. Fenrisian Wolves are just cheap throwaway units, so I really don't see the point of attaching him to them. Just take another unit of them. Uh, so I really don't think we'll see much Cyber Wolves right now. Wolf Scouts, they finally fixed this to be 2 wounds. So just just a couple extra weapon options from normal Marines. Normal Marine, what are they called? Scouts. So you have a couple extra weapon options. But other than that, they have a Scout 6-inch, and they can go back into reserve. So they're actually 10 points more expensive than regular Scouts. And they have the same rules. They just gained some weapon options. And Scouts at this point are pretty much just a tech piece for mission play. So I just take regular Scouts instead of them if you're playing Gladius, which most Wolf players will be right now if you're trying to be competitive. Just save the 10 points. Uh, when Scouts go to Legend, Wolf Scouts weren't mentioned, so we might get to keep them until they do a Wolf Codex, in which case then they have some play because you still have the Scout ability. You just pay the 10 point more, even when regular Scouts are gone. So I just take regular Scouts now, unless you want to do the Wolf Detachment, and then they do have some good mission play. You just pay 10 points more than regular Scouts. The Vendread, just you can build him shooty, you can build him combatty. He's just got all the weapon options. Um, gives a reroll hit roll of 1 and a reroll of wound roll of 1 within 6 of this, within 6 of him, so that's nice. Just, yeah, if you're going Dreadnought heavy, you run him. He just buff stuff. If you're going, I'd run him more shooty. If you're going combatty, he's basically the same options as the Wolfen Dreadnought. But the Wolfen Dreadnought is a little better in combat, I believe. So I just take the Wolfen Dreadnought if you want the combat build, and just take him if you want the shooty build. And that's it for the Wolves. So got definitely some good play with Logan, Arjack, some Terminator stuff. The Thunderwolves, definitely can see one squad of them buffed with the characters doing well. Ragnar is amazing. Bjorn's really good. There's definitely a lot of play in the characters and some of the units. Unfortunately, Wolfguard and Wolfen just aren't there right now. But Bloodclaws have some play. Grey Hunters have some play. So data sheet wise, Space Wolves I think are fairly decent. Especially if you pair it with the data sheets you can pull out of the Marine book and then Gladius. So as a Wolf player, I am not upset with where Wolves are. I've actually been doing fairly decent and enjoying them. Most of the times they don't pull out a win. I find it to be more operator error than list error. So we'll see whether them or the Death Watch list we built on the channel wins the poll. But they may get to see action this weekend. But no matter what happens, I will update you guys on what list I'm taking Friday night, and sometime early next week I'll let you know how the tournament went. But that's it for now, and I hope you guys have a great day.